Sean, Wizards of the Coast did it again.
What do you mean?
They released another UA.
Well, how many this time?
3 classes.
That puts us at 12. Let's rank them.
Welcome to the Home Brew Crew. I'm Tony, this is Sean, and today we're going over 12 UAs.
Yes, it's been a crazy couple weeks with Wizards. It seems like we've been getting a new UA every other week, and we normally review Home Brew Crew stuff on the channel, like, homebrew races and things like that. But considering the amount of content that has been coming out, we figured we can kind of combine everything into one nice abridged video for you.
Not to mention, you folks have been asking us every single week to do the new UA, and by the time we start recording one, there's another one. So we figure the easiest way to do this is just to rank them in the order of which we like them and give you a couple of reasons why. So let's start. Coming in at number 12 is the Wild Soul Barbarian.
Yeah, unfortunately, that first batch of UA was kind of on the weaker side.
Yeah, I wasn't very impressed by it. The theme of it was interesting, but it just didn't hit home for me.
Yeah, it's a little all over the place, especially with that roll table with the different effects. It's hard because you can't choose what you want. Giving spell slots to people was kind of weird, and it didn't seem really well together. Yeah,
as far as that roll table is concerned, it's hard to be specific with something and have it be random at the same time. That was kind of the thing that was weird. It's like, if you had something that you wanted to do, well, maybe you didn't roll it.
Yeah.
So that one goes in at the bottom of our list.
Starting at number 11, unfortunately, in that same release is the Astral Self-Monk, better than the Barbarian, for sure.
Sure, and I think the only reason why this one fails a little bit for me is it seemed a little bit too much like they were trying to be something that they weren't. It was, it just kind of reminded me of like, I don't know, like some anime or something with it.
Yeah, and, considering how much the monk can already kind of do, it seemed like it was trying to kind of capture all these different aspects of, like, being able to see, being able to detect, being able to hit things from far away. And again, great idea, great concept, great theme, but mechanically wise, I don't think it was as fleshed out as the other ones.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think you could do everything. Coming in at number 10 is the Twilight Cleric. Now, this one wasn't bad. That's the first thing I want to say. It wasn't bad. It just, it's over-encompassing thing of twilight and darkness. It kind of reminded me of like a Firefly or something.
A little bit. It kind of really focuses on, being in the dark and making sure your friends and you can't get frightened, and the unlimited dark vision. Great.
Still kind of scary, honestly, when I think about it, because there's no maximum whatsoever on that dark vision, which is a plus in it, and it's not a bad class. If you're playing a defensive type of cleric, I think that takes over.
Yeah, I think the only reason why it's a little lower is that compared to the other ones, it's a little underwhelming.
Yeah, I tend to agree.
Coming in at number 9 is the Heroism Paladin, the Hercules class, as I like to call it.
Now, I found this interesting that we ranked it as low as it is because Paladins are your favorite class.
Yeah, and that shows how honest we are. But no, I mean, there's some great ideas, the extra crit and the ability to frighten people, but I think one of the issues here is that it's kind of borrowing from things you've already seen. And it doesn't really do anything particularly new to the table, but the package itself is pretty well structured.
Yeah, and some of the ones that are coming up later on the list are actually, they give new meaning and mechanic to some of these classes, and that's something that we really respected with these. And this one just kind of fell a little bit short. Not that it's a bad class. In fact, I wouldn't mind playing one. It's kind of neat to be this heroic, hey, I'm high charisma. I didn't fail at that role. But at the same time, we kind of see a little bit of that.
Doesn't really reinvent the wheel for D&D here.
Right, exactly. Now, speaking about reinventing the wheel with that, we get into things with the Aberrant Sorcery.
Yeah, we reviewed this one actually in one of our other videos, and this one, we kind of start getting into the part of the list where things are getting kind of interesting now.
Yeah.
Because this Aberrant one, it's kind of like playing the Sorcerer with a little bit of Simic Hybrid in your build. You kind of gain the, like these new abilities with like the gaining like the body things and things like that.
Right.
And the thing with this and the Lurker one, which is later on, there's a really great theme kind of related into these two subclasses.
Absolutely, and this is the first one on the list that we feel really adds something new to the class itself. Like being able to adjust and have the gills, or being able to slide under a door as a slime, something like that. these are things that we haven't been able to do as player characters before. So this one kind of fits middle of the road here a little bit. We're looking at number 8 on the list, but this is where things start to get interesting.
Yeah, and I think it's mostly purely because the next 7 are pretty awesome.
That's true. Now, on to number 7.
So number 7, this one was talked about quite a bit. This is the Wildfire Druid.
Yeah, this one spread like wildfire.
It sure did. Besides having a very interesting concept, thinking of this nature-based kind of person going around using fire to kind of cleanse and reset, kind of like how you do like slash and burn farming.
Right.
And then, you get like the spirit guardian and all these cool things. It's a very, I just like the theme of this one. I think it's got a very interesting take on what a druid is.
True, and I like the fact that it kind of grows. I mean, we discussed this a little bit, that it was like you had all of this like little fire and little thing that you start off with and what have you. And by the end of it, you're getting back at 20th level, for example, you would be getting back, if you died, 100 temporary hit points, and you're doing all of this damage to everything around you.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool.
It shows how well you can take a theme and actually put it into something, because a wildfire usually starts with a little brush fire, right. And at the end, it's like taking up all of, a state, for example. Exactly. So, really, really good job on this one. I think this is one that people like a lot, too. Now, next we get into the Lurker of the Deep. This is number 6 on our list.
Yeah.
And we like the Lurker for one particular reason.
Yes, because it gives the Warlock that extra oomph that you kind of need when you're playing a Warlock. As a Warlock, you're so limited on your spell slots. So having the ability to use these tentacles for attacks, and later on you can teleport, the tentacles here are so useful. And the fact that it's a bonus action and doesn't use up spell slots is really, this is a great combat build. Using that Warlock spiritual weapon kind of thing with that. But just the flavor of the tentacle, wow, that sounds bad. But
someone
will take that out of context. Yeah.
I'm sure they will. But the thing is with it is I really like that it adds something to that class. The Warlock needed something to be able to do between those short rest type things, to be able to, to hit things from afar, that kind of stuff. And I think this really brings it home. Now, this is the part of the list where we started throwing some fists, because this is where these next 5, you really can't go wrong with any of these. No, every single one of them we felt was a top-of-the-line class, so it was really, really hard to choose between these. And I feel so bad putting this at number 5, but again, nothing wrong with this class at all. It's the Revived Rogue. It is a fantastic concept. So cool. Being able to, get abilities from things that, you being on the brink of death, being able to get abilities from past life type experiences. I think it's really well themed and something we haven't seen yet. I even love the idea that a friend of yours could actually knock you unconscious, so you can do that commune spell, basically. You come back and you have the option to change your flaw, your bonds, your alignment. But also find out about something that happened, like with a yes or no question with it. Being able to talk with your deity, it's so cool. Now, mechanically, it's not it's just not mind blowing. It's not like a game, like an amazing build. But the opportunity for roleplay and story and theme is so great with this one. Coming back, changing who you are when you come back. Well, I'm now Lulabelle. It's like right. I think as a role player, this is one I would love to have at my table. A role playing DM, I guess. But the thing is, this is really well put together. I really do like this. It's a good one. Now, coming in at number 4, this one took us a while to figure out. This one made it through the ranks, because it was one of the earlier ones that we looked at. Yeah. And it just, the style and the theme of it really works well. And that's the College of Eloquence Bard. Yes, this is the fast-talking, well-speaking bard, the one that uses words as his weapon. But the thing that put him higher than everybody else on the list was that shared inspiration type thing. Yeah, that infectious inspiration. The manipulation of your bardic inspiration die in this build particular is very cool. The fact that even if you fail, they can keep the die, or if somebody succeeds, you can pass it on to another person. Right. And again, just the idea that this person is using their words to kind of motivate the party and being better at it than a normal bard would be. Right. And each one of these classes now is adding something on top of the abilities of the class that was there. Honestly, if we go back to the Wild Soul Barbarian with it, he didn't really, it was a barbarian that could do magic. Like, it was like, oh, well, let's take a wizard and throw them together with a barbarian. But these 5 that are on here, especially with this Eloquence Bard, they build on the mechanic that the class has, and that is phenomenal. We really, really love that. Coming in at number 3 is the reason I may try a ranger.
Yeah, so this is the Swarm Keeper ranger. Now, it's very interesting because under normal circumstances, I don't think this one would really rank as high, but because of what it does to the ranger class, it's what really separates us from the rest of these, and that's why it's so high up on the list.
Think about the fact that a ranger normally is restricted to a terrain or a type of enemy or something like that. This puts him as more of a protector of the wilds type situation, but puts him in a scene where he's controlling these swarms of spirits, which I would just have bugs. I would just have insects
locusts
and
or
things.
Something,
But this is an awesome class with it. You get the ability to either hover or spider climb with things. It's the idea that you're part of that nature.
Yeah. So instead of creating this class that is like so good at killing this certain thing, it knows this one thing very well, embraces it, and can use it in any situation. It doesn't have to be in a forest. It doesn't have to be against undead. You can use these skills against anything, and that's what really makes this ranger awesome.
And even if it's working with your favorite enemy or any of those things, you can use this as a great backstory as to why that enemy is your favorite enemy. A giant comes in, tears down a forest, the spirits of the forest are going to be mad. Now you control the spirits of the forest to go out and seek revenge against those giants. It's great thematically, and it puts the ranger in a place that he has never been on a character sheet that I own.
Right, yeah. So wizards, if you're going to make more rangers, let's go with one of these again. So number 2. Now, again, even though it's number 2, really it could have been a number 1.
Oh god, we had a fist fight over this last one.
But this one, it sparked a lot of conversation because it's so different in concept, and it's weird, but in a good way for a wizard.
And that is Onomancy.
Yes.
Now, the Onomancy wizard is the school of Onomancy, I think it is.
Yeah.
This one focuses on knowing the true name of an enemy, right? And having that ability, you then are able to do different things and affect your spells for that enemy only if you know the name.
Yeah, and it's kind of more than just, oh, I know the real name. You kind of know, like, the true name of this character or this target, and therefore you have this insight that allows you to do more devastating effects to it, or if it's an ally, you're able to provide more benefits to it. And just the idea that, normally we associate wizards, oh, they just research spells and blah, 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 blah. But this wizard, it's kind of like the ultimate English professor of wizards.
And it goes on that idea that there's power in those names, right? We know names in D&D. We have Mordenkainen, we have some of these, Tasha's Hideous Laughter. We know these names as part of these wizards and these things with it, but the idea behind that you have some sway with it. Like, for example, being able to use puppetry on there.
Right.
Where if your spell hits and you have shouted the name of the person, you can pull them back 10 feet or send them prone. Just to have that extra little thing that you can do as a wizard to make it more powerful against that one person is phenomenal.
And not to mention that later on you even can manipulate damage types and saving throws. So the fact that you can do this, kind of like how, one thing we always like is when you don't necessarily change up the class, but you can manipulate what the class can do within its mechanics.
Right.
Is what this class is really good at doing.
Right, and I think it's neat because this is the first school that I've seen that's been UA or anything that's been added with it. Like the Warcaster or the War Mage with it is one thing, and I'm okay with it. But this actually feels like a field of study. Like you would actually feel, you would spend your time studying and researching the power of these names and these people that you would be calling out. It's a really awesome thing, and I think this one deserves the number 2 spot. Now, coming in at number 1, this one you probably guessed it at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you probably use your skills of deduction, so.
And that is the Rune Knight.
The Rune Knight. Now, it's so funny because I feel like we've even gotten a few submissions of people that have tried to do something like this.
Oh, yeah.
And to see something created by wizards as an Unearthed Arcana is very, very cool. Honestly, most of the appeal is just the idea of this fighter who can, imbue their armor and weapons with this magic. And it's just such a cool concept.
See, this is how I always pictured the Eldritch Knight to actually work. Like, I never see the Eldritch Knight, I can cast a... Can they even get Fireball like that? They get a third level spell, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so... But I see it more as, enchanting the armor. It's a little bit of the Artificer in there.
Yeah.
But I really like the idea of they know these runes. They're able to mark it on their shield, or they're able to mark it on their sword, and then it gives you that bonus or that stat that you're lacking with it.
Right. And the potential for builds is crazy. You can toss this at your min-maxer player that want to make that certain kind of fighter, and they can do so many different possibilities with the different runes and the different possible character combinations that they can come up with.
It doesn't, you're right, it doesn't stick the fighter into, I'm just going to attack and hit, attack and hit. It's like, okay, I'm going to prepare for battle. I'm going to make sure that my shield is with this rune here, and I'm going to make sure my sword is with this rune here, and I'm prepared now to fight the dragon because now I have the ice here that I can, It's just an awesome flavor with it, but also a really awesome mechanic. I can't wait to play one.
Yeah, I think we'll both be making a rune fighter very, very soon. So, but that's kind of our take on the most 12 recent Unearthed Arcanas. Wizards, if you're releasing more, great. Who needs sleep, right, at this point?
I don't see an Artificer, and I don't see a...
like a Blood Hunter,
Yeah, the Blood Hunter one. So come on, waiting. Wizards, let's see what you got. They may take out the Rune Knight.
Yeah, at this point, so...
But if you guys have something you'd like to send us, or if you want us to review another top 10 or something like that, go ahead and send it to us right down here at dmbrewcrew@gmail.com. We'd be happy to take a look. Not everything makes the channel, but we do our darndest.
Absolutely. And if you are willing to support the channel, obviously besides subscribing and liking, you can go ahead and visit the links down below. We do have some content on DM's Guild, like the Briarthorn race that we are pushing. And also we have a Patreon, and if you want to get some behind-the-scenes stuff, you can support us there as well.
Right. And remember, the best campaigns are always the ones that are homebrewed, but every once in a while we take a break for UAs. So until next time,
keep brewing.